Welcome to Friday Night Frights. Yes, we're going to talk about horror movies and all other things horror related, dealing with all kinds of different things. But tonight the topic is Dracula. Dracula films. Yeah, I'm wearing a Jaws shirt, but I'm talking about Dracula. Now, out of the Universal monsters, back in the day, with this intro that I have on here, you have to go with the classics first. And out of all the Universal monsters, my favorite by far is Dracula, of course. Over a few years ago, I started collecting them on DVD, of course, at first, and just got mainly the Christopher Lee films and stuff. But then I started getting into VHS a little bit more and just started looking up Dracula films, and there is quite a bit of them out there. And over the years I've picked up quite a bit, and there's still some that I definitely want to get on VHS, but they get a little pricey sometimes. Some notable Dracula films I'd like to own on VHS. One of them is called Dracula Sucks. Yeah, I know some people that's got this video. I'd love to have it on VHS. It's actually a porno. I have another one called Dracula Erotica, and just want to get my hands on that one for sure, but it's kind of pricey online. And another one, Scars of Dracula. That's one that I haven't got a hold of yet, but I think it is on Blu-ray. Bela Lugosi is the first Hollywood Dracula. In fact, I have a documentary called that, Bela Lugosi, Hollywood Dracula, and it's really good about his life and everything, and some things that I did not know about him. Did you know that he was buried in his Dracula outfit? Christopher Lee, yes, Christopher Lee was in quite a bit of Draculas, and in the Hammer films, starting in the late 50s all the way up to the 70s. I think he did like 12 or 13. I'm trying to get them all on DVD. I have a few on VHS and DVD, but there's still a few of them that's kind of hard to get, but they are getting released on Blu-ray and stuff. So some of them have been a little pricey, but now Blu-ray and 4K, who knows? And some of that stuff might be out too, and you can pick it up. Now, one of the probably the rarest one I have in my collection, The Night Dracula Saved the World. Now, I've heard this is pretty rare. I got it off Scotty Slasher a few years back. It's actually like a comedy. It's got Judd Hirsch plays in it, if you know who I'm talking about there. But that's crazy as Dracula. There's been a lot of people play Dracula over the years. Also, my favorite cover of Dracula, it's got to be Dracula versus Frankenstein. Look at that cover, baby. But the movie, of course, is not that good. That's just how it goes, and you can even look on the back at Frankenstein. It looks pretty bad right there, don't he? But look at that cover. Be a great tattoo on your back. And if you're trying to get a Dracula collection started, you can look at this documentary. It's great. It's called The Cinema's Greatest Bloodsuckers, Dracula in the Movies. And this goes through all the way from Bela Lugosi all the way up to about the late 70s, maybe even the early 80s. It's been a while since I watched this, but it's a great documentary. I don't think it's on DVD, but it is on VHS. Any VHS collectors out there, pick it up. It might be on DVD now. Don't quote me on that, but who knows. But I picked it up on VHS pretty cheap on the old eBay. Some other Dracula movies that I have on DVD. Dracula Has Risen from the Grave. This is a Christopher Lee one. It's one of them old snapper cases. Really good movie. I think they're all being released on Blu-ray now. Will I buy them on Blu-ray and chuck the old DVD? Who knows? But this is one of my least favorite ones. Dracula AD 1972. Dracula comes into the modern world in 1972. Christopher Lee still playing him at that time, but definitely was a lot better in the older Draculas, like this one. The Hammer films, Taste the Blood of Dracula. This one's a pretty good one too, from the I think about the 60s, mid-60s. And this is one of my favorites, The Horror of Dracula. This is like one of his first or second one, I think. I think the first one was called Dracula, Prince of Darkness. They have The Trail of Dracula. This is a great documentary. You must get it. Any Dracula fan, it starts all the way back from the real stuff all the way up to through the movies and everything else Dracula. Great documentary. You got to pick that one up. And then, of course, Bram Stoker's Dracula. You know, the book that started it all back in the day. This is really good. Got Keanu Reeves in it. You know, everybody knows about this. Gary Oldman. Great movie. I need to get this one on Blu-ray. But, yeah, it's a little different take on a lot of the other Dracula movies and stuff. But this is from the man himself, Bram Stoker. But, yes, Dracula is my favorite Universal monster. Over the years, there's been so many damn movies put out of Dracula. And not just Dracula himself, Brides of Dracula, stuff like that. You Taste the Blood of Dracula. Horror of Dracula. There's just been so many, and especially in the 50s and 60s, and even up to today, you got Dracula 2000. You know, I've got that on Blu-ray. You got Dracula 2, Wes Craven's Dracula, and all that good stuff. There's just so many different types, and they keep on making them. So yeah, and even some newer ones just recently here in the last few. Dracula: The Untold Story. I think that's one of them too. I haven't really seen that. I'm not for sure if that's exactly the title. Something about Untold. Or Dracula Untold, something like that. You know what I mean, gangsters? So, what do you think? If you like Dracula, you like Frankenstein, all that good stuff. First episode here, mainly just Dracula talk. We put Frankenstein in there for a minute or two, but who knows, maybe one day we'll do another one with Frankenstein and everything. But right now, we're getting ready to head on over and call the Horror Man. Yeah, he's a YouTuber that's been on here for many years. He has a big VHS collection, a big movie collection, period, but he has a lot of VHS and stuff. And he's called the Horror Man, so he's got to have some Dracula movies, right? I got the Horror Man online here.
Hey, what's going on, everyone?
Oh, can you hear me? Hear me pretty good? I got a loud mouth, so I'm sure you can hear me.
I can definitely hear you.
All right. How's the things going in your neck of the woods in this crazy times in this world right now?
That's pretty crazy because, like you, I'm considered essential staff, so.
Oh, so you're still.
For me.
Yeah, you're still working. So am I. Matter of fact, they just laid off like 3 or 4 people yesterday, and I got lucky enough to stay on, so that's good, and got good health still. So hopefully, in these trying times here, that we'll get over this stuff soon. But right now, we want to talk about horror movies, right?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. And not just regular horror movies. We're going all the way back. We're talking about Dracula films and stuff. And you got to go all the way back to 1931 with Bela Lugosi. And he's the king. But I also like Christopher Lee. Who's your favorite out of them two?
I mean, Christopher Lee, I think, has almost the staying power. Obviously, Bela Lugosi's, the original, the classic, but. It's cool seeing Christopher Lee in the different Dracula roles,
Yeah, I own a lot of his movies as Dracula. I think I've got almost every one of them except for like 2 of them.
I didn't realize how many of them I had until I started counting.
Oh, yeah. Well, the first question for the Horror Man, we're going to go ahead and figure this out for Dracula films. How many do you own on Blu-ray?
On Blu-ray, I only have about 3 or 4.
Oh my God, you actually beat me. I only own one. That's Dracula 2000.
Yeah, that's one of mine.
Oh, you got that one too. What's the other ones, since you ain't got but a few?
I have Bram Stoker's Dracula on Blu-ray and the 1979 Frank Langella Dracula.
Okay, I own that one on VHS. That's pretty cool. How many on VHS do you have?
VHS, I counted 9.
9, and I have 29.
Wow.
I kind of like collecting Dracula more on VHS, and I get on kicks every once in a while, and I just got on a kick there for a while and bought quite a bit of Dracula over, a few months on eBay and stuff like that, so, yeah.
That's cool, yeah. I mean, Dracula, I've actually been picking them up more recently than not. Obviously my big VHS collection is slasher films, but I kind of like keeping my tapes together, so all the Dracula films together, so when I tend to find them in the wild, I'll pick them up just so they can go with the rest of them.
Yeah, and I have some of them, out of them 29, I think there's like 2 or 3 documentaries I have, and I have a few of them that's, I still have on DVD too, so it's kind of have, 2 of them, which ones, I can't remember exactly which ones, but most of them are Christopher Lee ones that I have, duplicates of, so I'm sure you probably have something like that too.
Absolutely.
Okay, what's the count on the DVDs?
I got to 30 and then I stopped counting.
Wow. Now you beat me there. I only have 11. And
Yeah, I got a lot on DVD, which I didn't even realize. Like I said, I started counting them, and then, I went obviously right for the Dracula section, the D's, and then I realized, wait a minute, now there's Blood for Dracula, and, Fiance of Dracula, and all these other movies that I had to take into consideration, too, so.
yeah, there's quite a bit of them out there. I own, like I said, 11 DVDs, but 4 of them are actually documentaries. Do you have any documentaries?
I don't know off the top of my head if I do.
No.
I'm sure I do somewhere in there, but I can't remember.
You ever heard of the Trail of Dracula?
No, I don't think so, no.
That's a really good one. That one goes through a lot of the movies and stuff, starting all the way from Bram Stoker's and, the original Dracula all the way up through, I think, until about the 80s, close to the 90s. So
nice.
That's good to reference on trying to find, these Dracula movies. Most of them, just like, Blood of Dracula, stuff like that. It's just different ones. Brides of Dracula, there's so many different ones out there.
Exactly.
Which one is your favorite of the Dracula films?
My favorite Dracula film is probably the 1979 Frank Langella Dracula.
Uh-huh.
I like the atmosphere in that one. I like the whole Mercy Brown storyline. But I also like Blood for Dracula, the Andy Warhol, directed by Paul Morrissey.
Uh-huh.
I always kind of like those oddballs.
Yeah, I always liked the horror of Dracula with Christopher Lee. One of the, I think it's the second one he was in.
Might be, yeah.
Yeah, that one's really good. I always liked the atmosphere in them movies. Plus, they got good-looking women in them movies back in the 60s.
That's true.
Especially the way they dressed, and they had their tatas pushed up and all that good stuff. But, yeah, there's some good-looking women in the movies if you go back to look at them. And I never really watched a whole lot of them until I met a guy a few years ago that was telling me about the Christopher Lee movies. And then all of a sudden, I started buying a bunch of them, so... And like I said, I like him. Bela Lugosi is the first one mainly, but Christopher Lee is, he did it so many times. So
absolutely,
he had a lot. I mean, there's a lot of other crazy ones out there that did Dracula that people have never heard of. Jack Palance even played Dracula. I have that on VHS. If you,
I was going to say, yeah, I actually have the Thriller video, the big box Elvira.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
I have that one.
That's definitely one I'd like to get. I just got Dracula's. Oh, good Lord! Now I'm at a standstill here. What the Dracula's Great Love? I just got that on VHS clamshell here, not recently. You own that one?
I don't have that one, no.
Haven't watched it yet, but it's one of them Gorgon videos, and I had to pick it up. A buddy of mine collects and stuff. He said it was a real good deal. The guy only had $23 on it, and he said he bought his for like $50 or $60. So he said that's a good deal. You better snag it up. And I got it on Instagram there. So.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So the Horror Man is on YouTube. You've been on YouTube for about 10 years now, ain't you?
Yep, 10 years.
10 years, about as long as I've been on here, and you can catch him every Friday night. You do a live show, right?
I do. This week we'll be on my channel. We switch off every other week between my channel and Bronco Juggalo Talks Movies, and we do the Super Slash Bros live stream. Yeah,
and they do it for you. Sometimes y'all get on there for 4 or 5 hours, don't you?
Oh yeah, we start at 9 p.m. Eastern, and sometimes we're on until 2, 3 in the morning. So.
Yeah, during the week, I'm off Saturday and Sundays. But I usually in bed by 9 or 10. I try to pop on there every once in a while and say a few things. But, and I've actually been on 2 shows. One of them was one of the craziest ones probably you had.
Oh, it was hysterical.
Can't forget about that one. Maybe we'll do that again one time here soon.
Definitely, yeah. Definitely.
But, so thanks for being on Friday Night Frights, Horror Man. And check him out on YouTube and does him live. He owns every VHS known to man, I believe. I sold him a few of them. I wish I didn't sell, but sometimes, VHS can be an investment. Hard times come up, and you can have some worth a lot of money, and you can sell them and make a little bit of money, but I do appreciate you buying the ones you bought off of me, but now I miss them very dearly, but who knows. Maybe one day I'll get them back again.
Maybe.
All right, man. Thanks for being on here, and maybe some of your other guys that you do your live stuff with, maybe they can be on here and we can do another show.
Sounds good. Thanks for having me.
All right, buddy. See you later.
Say,
Thanks for watching Friday Night Frights. This is the first one. It's a little rough maybe around the edges, but who knows, maybe I'll get a little bit better at this stuff. There's a lot of Dracula movies out there. I didn't even show half of them off. Like I said, I've got like 29 on VHS, like 11 on DVD. Just only got the one little Blu-ray, and that's Dracula 2000, but I definitely have to get more. But if you're a Dracula fan, comment at the bottom, let me know your favorites. If you like some covers, you collect VHS, how many do you got on VHS? How many do you have on DVD, Blu-ray, or even other formats out there? Who knows? You might have some beta tapes hanging around or something, or some laser disc or something like that. But thanks to the Horror Man for tuning in and letting us know about what he has in his collection and some of his favorite stuff about Dracula too. And this is the first episode, so stay tuned. Not everyone will have a guest and stuff, but every once in a while will pop up a guest from YouTube. I should mention that. They are YouTubers that will, then you can go check out their links. I'll have them at the bottom. And go sub them if you like what you heard on here. And if you like what you saw, give me a thumbs up. Give me a comment. And that's it for the first episode of Friday Night Frights. Till next time.